What would you do if you knew your city was about to be destroyed? Picture a city vibrant with life, echoing with the sounds of bustling marketplaces filled with traders and shoppers. Streets are teeming with people, their conversations blending into a harmonious symphony of day-to-day life. Children are chasing each other in joyous play, their laughter punctuating the air. Artisans are at work, their hands deftly shaping creations of beauty and function. Scholars are engaged in heated debates, their wisdom resonating in the grand halls of learning. This city, this vibrant hub of civilization, is Pompeii, a jewel of the Roman Empire, nestled in the shadow of a sleeping giant, Mount Vesuvius. The citizens of Pompeii, proud and industrious, are going about their lives, oblivious to the cataclysm that is about to befall them. The rich are planning their lavish feasts, the poor are toiling for their daily bread, and the children are dreaming of their future, a future that is as uncertain as the slumber of the volcano. Each street, each home, each face tells a story of love and loss, of triumph and despair, of dreams nurtured and hopes shattered. But above all, a story of a people who lived and loved, who laughed and cried, who hoped and dreamed, just like you and I. But on this day, a day that began like any other, these stories, these lives were about to be silenced forever. For beneath the surface, beneath the calm facade of normalcy, a beast was stirring, a beast that was about to unleash its fury on this unsuspecting city. On the morning of August 24th, 79 AD, the people of Pompeii woke up to a day that seemed like any other. But beneath the surface, Mount Vesuvius was stirring. As the sun rose over Pompeii on that fateful day, the first signs of the impending catastrophe were subtle, easily overlooked. The ground beneath the city began to tremble, soft rumbles that were felt more than heard. At first, these tremors were dismissed as the city's heartbeat, a normal part of life in the shadow of Vesuvius. Yet as the morning wore on, the tremors grew stronger, more insistent. The earth shook with a force that rattled homes and unsettled the people. Their daily routines were disrupted, their sense of security shattered. The city that had been a sanctuary suddenly felt like a trap. In the midst of the chaos, the animals sensed the danger before the humans. Dogs howled, birds took flight, horses reared in their stables. Their erratic behavior added to the growing sense of unease, a primal fear that something was terribly wrong. As the tremors intensified, the people of Pompeii began to panic. The ground beneath their feet, once solid and reliable, now threatened to swallow them whole. Their world was shaking, and they were powerless to stop it. The city streets were filled with people, their faces etched with fear, their voices raised in prayer. The city's officials tried to maintain order, to calm the populace, but their words fell on deaf ears. The tremors were a language everyone understood, a grim reminder of nature's power and humanity's insignificance. As the morning gave way to afternoon, the tremors became more frequent, more violent. Buildings crumbled, roads cracked, the city's infrastructure strained under the pressure. The once bustling metropolis was now a city on the brink of collapse. By noon, it was clear that this was no ordinary day. The people of Pompeii looked to Vesuvius, the mountain that had been their protector, their landmark, their home. Now it was their doom. The tremors were a warning, a prelude to the eruption that would bury the city and its people under a layer of ash and pumice, silencing Pompeii forever. Then, with a roar that echoed across the land, Vesuvius erupted. It was as if the mountain itself had transformed into a monstrous beast, its fiery breath spewing forth in a torrent of destruction. The sky darkened ominously, not with the gentle twilight of an approaching evening, but with a thick, choking cloud of ash and pumice. A shadow of death descended upon Pompeii, blotting out the sun and casting the city into a terrifying premature night. The once bustling streets of Pompeii were plunged into chaos. The vibrant marketplace, previously filled with the lively chatter of trade and barter, was now a cacophony of screams and cries. The thrumming pulse of the city, so full of life and vitality, had been replaced by a frantic heartbeat of panic. The eruption of Vesuvius was not a slow, creeping disaster. It was swift, it was merciless, and it was devastating. People ran in all directions, desperately seeking shelter from the rain of fire and stone. Some sought refuge in their homes, praying to the gods for protection. Others attempted to flee the city, their eyes wide with fear as they navigated the disarray. Yet, amidst the pandemonium, there were stories of courage and resilience. Parents shielded their children, friends helped one another, and strangers extended hands to those in need. In the face of certain death, the people of Pompeii showed a strength of spirit that was as defiant as it was inspiring. But as the hours passed, the situation grew increasingly dire. The once proud city was being buried under a relentless barrage of ash and pumice. Buildings crumbled under the weight. Streets were filled to the brim, and hope seemed to be a luxury that was rapidly running out. In just a few hours, Pompeii had turned from a vibrant city into a living nightmare. The eruption of Vesuvius was a cataclysmic event that marked the end of Pompeii's glory. Yet it was also the beginning of a story of a city frozen in time, a story of a people who fought against the odds, and a story that continues to resonate with us even today. As the hours passed, Pompeii was slowly buried under a rain of ash and pumice. A deadly shower of fiery fragments from Vesuvius fell relentlessly, turning day into night and life into a fight for survival. The streets that once echoed with the hustle and bustle of everyday life were now scenes of unimaginable chaos. Each stone, each fragment that fell, carried with it the force of nature's fury, obliterating everything in its path. This was no ordinary rain. It was a deluge of destruction. Homes, once filled with laughter and love, were crushed under the weight of the ash. Temples and markets, the heart of the city's cultural and economic life, were reduced to ruins. The city's once vibrant pulse was replaced by a chilling silence, punctuated only by the ominous rumble of the volcano and the muffled cries of those trapped. Imagine the terror of the people, huddled in their homes, praying for salvation as their world crumbled around them. Despite the overwhelming odds, there were stories of courage and resilience. Mothers shielding their children, fathers braving the storm to find a way out, friends helping friends. But as the hours turned into a seemingly endless night, the struggle became insurmountable. The ash and pumice, once a spectacle of nature's might, became a tomb, preserving the city and its stories under a gray shroud. As Vesuvius finally quieted, a once thriving city lay in ruins. The people, the culture, the life, all silenced in a matter of hours. By evening, Pompeii lay silent and buried, a city lost in time. An eerie stillness had settled over the city, a stark contrast to the pandemonium that had reigned just hours before. The city that had stood proudly against the backdrop of Vesuvius was no more. It was a chilling reminder of nature's power and the fragility of human life. A day that started like any other had ended in unimaginable tragedy. Pompeii was now a city under ash and pumice, a city silenced, a city lost, but never forgotten. Centuries later, the lost city of Pompeii was rediscovered. The city, once bustling with life, lay shrouded under a blanket of ash and pumice, forgotten by time. In the late 16th century, an architect named Domenico Fontana stumbled upon the ruins, but it wasn't until the mid-18th century that serious excavations began. As archaeologists dug through the hardened layers of volcanic material, they uncovered a city frozen in time, a snapshot of life as it was on that fateful day in 79 AD. They found homes, markets, and streets eerily preserved, as if waiting for their inhabitants to return. But it was the casts of the victims that provided the most poignant insights into the last hours of Pompeii. These casts, formed by filling voids left in the ash by decomposed bodies, captured the final moments of Pompeii's citizens. They showed people in their last throes of life, some huddled together, others alone. Each cast told a story, a personal account of the disaster. These archaeological findings have given us an unprecedented glimpse into the past, allowing us to piece together the events of that day, hour by hour. They've shown us the human face of history, reminding us that behind every historical event are the stories of individuals just like us. Through these remnants, the silenced voices of Pompeii speak to us across the ages. Pompeii's last day serves as a stark reminder of nature's power and the fragility of human civilization. The echoes of Pompeii's silenced voices teach us that life can change in an instant, and that our world, however vibrant, is at the mercy of the forces shaping our planet. These lessons from the past speak to us, urging us to respect nature, value life, and remember our shared history. We remember Pompeii so that history does not repeat itself.